All right, and we are live. Happy Wednesday.
Hello,
Today's
everybody.
guest, we have Mr. Ralph of Ralph's Bricks. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Great. It is awesome to have you. I
Thanks for
have
having me.
been watching your channel for a very long time now.
Sorry about
Um,
that.
yeah.
I went to a
I
brick
think,
convention the other day or a couple weeks ago, and a father and a daughter came and stopped me. Stopped me while I was walking around, and they were talking. He was saying like, "Yeah, we just got done watching you," and she was like, "I saw you on TV," and I'm like, "I'm sorry." You know? But I thought it was really cool. The little girl was like, "I saw you on TV."
hello, guys. Welcome in.
Hey,
Yeah.
Great Brick Labs
Yeah.
here. Chris from Great Brick Lab.
And we got Mr. Austin from Austin's Bricks. Hello, guys.
Let,
Yeah.
let's go.
So, being recognized in public, is that cool? Or is it just really awkward?
It's cool at this level. Um, I had a podcast about 15 years ago that went to number 2 on the Apple charts for a little while. That was crazy. I'd be like in other countries and like people would be coming up. I want to take your photo. It's like that was a little weird. But
Uh,
yeah, this is normal. Like I only get recognized when I go to like brick conventions or like a Lego store or something. Um, it's nothing to worry about. Nothing like Luke at Outdoor Boys, who had to shut down his channel recently. That was crazy. Like he blew up. He's got 12 million followers in the last 18 months, and like yeah, it started affecting him and his family. And I don't know. I'm assuming everybody know who's Outdoor Boys is, but that was like a favorite channel of mine. I found it recently too. So
12 million is a crazy number.
oh, he was at 15 million. That was 12 million just in the last 18 months.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much. Then
Yeah.
people start getting creepy at that level, I think.
Yeah. I think that was the thing. People were just like invading his space.
Yeah.
Coming up wanting to talk. Just being normal fans, right? Like, but yeah, then you got some other crazy ones too. So Austin, yeah. See, Austin said, "Big sad he left."
Yeah. Yeah. So for getting recognized in public, are you coming to Brick World by any chance?
I am not. No.
You're not.
So
Ah,
it's weird that it's on Father's Day weekend. It really is. It's like I don't know. And I actually, for the last couple of years, I have had a vehicle that would get me to Chicago, but I recently just bought a vehicle that I can get there now. So
well,
yeah,
it's not too late.
yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about business, right? So that'll explain why I'm not coming.
Yeah, yeah. All right. All right. So before we dive into the business, let's get in the Wayback Machine. How did
Okay.
you get started? Were you a Lego fan as a kid, or
I
how did
was
that happen?
not. Let's see. I was looking for a hobby. Like winters. We were talking before the show about winters here. Like you're in Boston. I'm in Western New York. Winters here are brutal. It's 9 months. It's like September. It starts getting cloudy. Starts getting cold. You're pretty much inside from November till April, when you can still start coming out. And then like that December, January, February, March, it's like it's brutal cold. You don't have a lot of light. So I was looking for a hobby. There was a video. Adam Savage has a YouTube channel called Tested, and they did a build of a rebrickable build of JK Brickworks syphilis. Pushing the rock. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they were building it. And I thought that was cool. I was like, you know what, I could get into that. And so one day I was in the mall and I was walking by a Lego store. I'm like, you know what, let me try. Let me go in. Walked in, and I had been traveling quite a bit back then for my job. They had architecture sets. They had a Venice one. We had just been to Venice, so I grabbed Venice, $40, brought it home, built it in an hour. And I was like, yeah, that's not $40 worth. so I started um, so I started looking around rebrickable because that's what they were doing. Looking at that syphilis build, and then looking at the other builds that were there, and I built a. Um, I'm a Star Trek fan, so I built a Star Trek Enterprise from Next Generation. I built a Batmobile from 1989 movie. Um, couple other things I built. And of course, to do that, you need to buy the bricks from Bricklink. And I, stumbled across Bricklink as I was building all those bricks. I bought a book to learn how to do it. Like, I didn't do it like the traditional way of people doing it, of, watching a YouTube video and getting inspired. I actually got inspired to do it and wanted to figure out how to do it. And I found a book on Amazon and read through that, which was really, really good. And then I found Bricks and a Dollars channel, which back in the day was really like the big main resource. I think he had like this series called Ask Clutch, and it was like, at the time, it was like 100 videos. It was like people would ask questions in the comments, and he would just like spend 5 minutes answering the question. It was really great. I think I watched it like hundreds of times there. So, but he's taken it down, and I asked him why once, and he's like, if I were to give all this advice again, I'd do it completely differently. Like, I wouldn't give that same advice I did 10 years ago or whatever it was. So he's put it all in private. So that's how I got started. It was a good hobby. Started really slow. I think I maybe put $30 into the business, and then let it, grow organically. So it's been growing very, very slowly over the last 8 years. The last couple of years, I've started trying to grow it as fast as I could, because I did see the writing on the wall at work that layoffs were coming, and I was just preparing. Like, I wanted to do this full time, but I didn't really want to do it. I didn't want to quit my job and do it. So like, I was like, if I got let go, that would be the way to do it. And I eventually got let go last February, and so I don't think I was ready then, but we got thrown into the fire.
Yeah. Do you think you ever would have been ready until your hand was forced?
No. The thing that kept me there, this is the problem with jobs in America. The thing that kept me there was benefits, right? Like,
yeah,
like that's been the hardest thing, was getting healthcare since leaving. So thankfully I don't make a lot, and so I can get Medicaid. But yeah, that was the thing that keeping me there. Plus, I wasn't even going to get close to the salary I was making. I was a Silicon Valley job. So
yeah, it's a hard one to replace.
Yeah, definitely. So it was either I was forced out and doing it full time, or I was just going to continue doing it as a hobby.
So now that you've been doing it for a little while,
yeah,
do you think it's promising? Do you think it's something that you'll continue to do full time for a while? What are you thinking?
I have some runway to keep doing it. I'm hopeful. Like, we keep getting close, right? Like, we keep getting close to making our bills. The thing that keeps worrying me is like where the economy is going. Last summer was, like probably the worst summer. Maybe it felt the worst to me just because I was full time and I really was struggling. But Chris is here. Chris reached out to me. I did a video where I was sort of like floundering a little bit, and Chris reached out to me, and so did Ben at Beehive Brick Store. They reached out to me, and we had a great conversation. Just sellers trying to help each other. And I really appreciated that. Derek from Pop's Block Shop reached out to me as well. Daddy O'Bricks, who's in the channel, he's always been a good shoulder to lean on to, try to get through these things. But yeah, I mean, like, I just needed some help. I needed some inspiration there. They were great. And I think that's the hardest part. It would be interesting to see how this summer goes. I think the slowdown's starting a little bit earlier this year, which is not a good sign. So we'll see how that goes.
Now, do you think you can kind of counteract this slowdown by growing?
I mean, that's the only thing you can do, right? Like, put more hooks in the sea, so to speak, right? Like, people shop Bricklink by, they want to find the stores that have the most variety in their wanted list, so to speak, right? Like, so they've created this wanted list of 100 items or 100 lots. They're gonna, if they're anywhere experienced at all, they're gonna put that through Bricklink, the wanted shopping list there, and they're going to pick a store that has the most number, of the top few stores that they can get all of those parts in one shop. So yeah, I think the more you got, the better it is, and that's why we're seeing bigger stores right now like doing well, and getting through that.
Yeah. You are majority used, right?
No, I'm majority
No?
new at. Yeah,
Majority new.
I
But I
am.
thought you weren't buying and parting out sets. So how does
I'm
that
not,
work?
but I'm not. I I've stopped parting out sets about a year ago. I think that's the big transition that happened in the last year. A Bricklink seller could buy a bunch of sets, and probably still make three times the revenue back, on their purchase. Sometime last year, Lego raised their prices. And that's a you can't find that. It's very hard to find, and if you can find it, everybody else has found it too, and they're all going to be doing the same thing. So like, those parts are like questionable whether or not you really want to put them in there or not. But I think parting out sets has been like the thing that sellers aren't doing as much as they used to. When I started, a lot of people are getting into used now because of the margins that are a lot better, but it takes a
Yep.
lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like primarily new. So like I source new parts much different than I did a year and a half ago. Like it's more like I'm targeting specific parts that I want to go after versus targeting a set that has a good part out value, targeting out parts that I can flip easier.
Okay. So you're going about it like like a reseller outside of Lego would, where you're checking supply and demand and then your actual margin per piece and then going
Yeah.
after those.
Yeah, I'd rather not sit on new parts. I'd rather churn a lot faster,
Yeah.
and then fill in the pieces that people might need with used.
Interesting. Okay.
So like
So
2x2 dark bluish gray tiles. I go through those like 500. I'll go through 500 every 6 months, and I'll replenish them. So like that's a good piece. But like Bionicle mass, I'll grab that from used. Like I won't go finding. That's a bad example, but you know what I mean, right? Like,
yep.
stuff like that. I'll fill in with the used pieces that I'm doing.
Is that a lot harder to source that way?
Yes and no. I have a few different strategies. I don't want to go through all of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, don't give that stuff away.
Yeah, but like, it's not hard to like come up with a list of parts to target. Like if you
Yep.
you know what you want to how you want to target those, and then it takes a little bit more money to go after those, but like you get those in quantity versus like I don't know, if I part out a set, I might get 10 of those pieces, and then they'll sell right away, and then you're left with the crap that's left over in that set, So
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to say that everything sells eventually, right?
it does, except for these. What are they? I remember parting out this set. Was Rocket's ship, like Rocket, from
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, when I first started, I parted out like 3 or 4 of this rocket ship, of his, and it had like this bright orangish, whatever that color is. And it was like this. It was this like windshield shape, like rounded windshield shape, but it was solid. It was a solid color. I haven't sold one of those yet. They're still in my store. They're at 50% off. Nobody's buying it. Noah says everything does sell eventually. Come buy my parts then and prove me wrong.
Yeah, one of your shows, the what do you call it there? Your calls with the three of you.
The recent ones. We call them the seller chats. So Chris at the Great Brick Lab, who's in the chat or was in the chat, I don't know if he's still here, and Ben at Beehive Brick Store, we started doing these calls because we were like I said, back last August, they reached out to me and I just started we started chatting amongst the three of us. I'm like, you know what? We should record these. And, they were open to it, but we were talking about a lot of things that were like, um, business sort of like you wouldn't want to be out in public so much. And I kept my mouth shut. And Chris and Ben were like, "Why don't we put it in Ralph's membership channel?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, let's do that." I'm
a
open to
really
that.
good spot for that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we do.
During one of those calls, you guys were talking about just waiting for the right combination of parts in your store when somebody will finally come along when you get that combination.
Yeah.
And
So
think about that a lot.
I think that goes to Ben and Chris's philosophy and how they price things. They price their stuff really high. So like, especially Ben's a new seller. He's like maybe 2 years old now, but like he priced his stuff really high and he's grown to like 1.5 million parts, right? And
crazy.
50,000 lots. And
wow.
he makes more than I do just because he's got the variety that people want. And it's funny because like if you have the variety and you all have all of the parts that a buyer wants all in one place, they don't care what the price is. They're going to buy it instead of shopping around. Yeah. I'm not like that. I'm going to shop around. I'm going to find, I'm going to buy a lot more stuff that I need, and try to find sellers that have free shipping. That's my thing. Free shipping. If you have free shipping, you're going to grab me. That's the thing. That's hard to find, free shipping though.
Yeah, I feel like free shipping is just painting a target on your back. I mean, I think I offer free shipping over $75, I think is where I'm at.
But you're a smaller store, so it's probably really hard.
Yeah. How many times have you nobody's ever done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do maybe 2 or 3 a week, which is great. Like the margin, it's what, $6-7 sometimes to ship that, like my margins can easily cover that on I offer $65 free shipping. So it's much easier when it's, when you got a lot there.
Yeah. It almost turns into a joke. Was it yesterday? I don't know, yesterday or the day before, we had a sale that was like $68.55 or something. Mm-hmm. It's like
cheat $1.50 from free.
Just spend the extra money. Like
they probably,
I don't know, people don't look, or
they probably hit their wanted list. They probably didn't even know. They probably filled their cart from the wanted list shopping page. They probably didn't even go to your store. They probably just filled the cart. They had no idea what your terms were.
That's so crazy.
That's probably how they did it. Yeah. There's a lot of things you just don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of things. A lot of people just don't know how to shop on Bricklink. Bricklink is very much a complicated site. Brickowl's even more complicated, I would think, because I've never shopped there and I don't even know how I would shop there. But like, it feels more complicated when I look around. But like, if you're not experienced on Bricklink, it's very hard to figure out how to shop. I don't know how many questions I see on Reddit and Facebook of how do I get these parts? And it's like, create a wanted list, shop by the wanted list.
Yeah, it is laid out really poorly. Well, at least in my opinion, the
site hasn't. It really hasn't been. It's still running classic ASP or like active server pages, which was the big programming language back in the 2000s, right? Like so, like it's still running on that. So it really hasn't had. I'm sure it's so complicated that like trying to do a remake. Just look at Lego this past year doing the header. How much crap they took from the community on that. It's like anything they do, they're going to lose, right? Like, so I think the previous owners realized that when they tried to do that XP, I think that would have been cool. There was lots of cool features of that, but yeah, it was definitely not built out that it needed to be, like, so like you either got to bring in all of the functionality that people are used to, or yeah, I don't know what you're going to do. It's a big task. That's that's for sure.
Yeah, that's part of why. Actually, so I'll ask you this question as part of my complaint. Uh, I won't do international shipping because I'm afraid of screwing it up.
Yeah,
How does that work? Do you ship internationally?
I do. Um, I didn't for a long time. Uh, what sent me over? I use Pirate Ship. I'm in the U.S. Pirate Ship's a U.S. thing, so this is for
Yep.
U.S. sellers. Pirate Ship has this program called Simple Export Shipping. Basically, what it is they're using a third party shipper, right? Like when you sell to like somebody overseas and they have you send it to somewhere in like Portland, Oregon, or to New York City, you're doing the same thing, only you're doing it, right? Like you're not the buyer's not doing it. Um, but basically, selling at, or you're buying the postage at like their set rate, right? And it's much cheaper because they're doing it all bulk and at a discount, and then shipping it all together to whatever country they're going to. um
Okay.
so they have 50, they say they have 55 countries that you can ship to that has tracking available in their country. I've taken two or three of them out of there, so like Russia, obviously. I took Mexico out of there because it doesn't offer door-to-door tracking. And then I think
Okay.
I recently took off Brazil because I've sent two packages to Brazil, and customs their customs keeps trying to like charge the buyer like exorbitant custom fees, and they refuse it, and it comes back and I have to refund it. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with that anymore. So but otherwise I think I shipped to like 52 countries that has door-to-door tracking. So
Now, does that work similar to eBay's international setup,
yes.
where you just ship to Kentucky and they take it from there? That kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So when
Okay.
you buy your posted label, it'll look like a domestic postage label. You still have to fill out a customs form in Pirate Ship, but you get a domestic one, and it sends it to. There's a bunch of different places you send to, like Miami, New York. There's a few different places in New York. You can send it to LA, depending on where it's going. You know.
Okay. Now, what about like what is it, VAT and all the other nonsense that the international people have to pay? Do we have to care about that?
We do have to care about that. So, like, if you're going to send to Europe, Bricklink will send you a separate email outside of the order confirmation saying, "Hey, they've paid VAT. You need to provide this number in on the customs form." And there's usually like a field text field that you enter in this number into. Plus, I also add that paper on the outside. You get those clear, sticky adhesive things that you put the documents on the outside of the package, and
Yep.
I'll do that as well.
Okay.
Sometimes if like if I send to a country and like the address is all wonky, like and Pirate Ship's like screwing it up all left and right, which Pirate Ship does sometimes, I will print out the order detail page and show like the address that they gave me, like showing out. So like if Pirate Ship screwed that up, or if like um, the third party shipper can't get the address shipped out right, at least they have like the address that I was given, showing up on the outside of the package.
Do you do a lot of international sales?
Uh, Canada, I do frequently. Um, I've done some weird ones lately, like Turkey, a couple to Turkey. Um, there's been a couple where like I was fighting the address, like, and I found with Pirate Ship, like there's like this when you go to create like a single label, you can say paste address, and it like opens up like this big text box where you can like just paste
Yep.
the entire address. and then like it starts adding these things into like the predefined address boxes underneath. If you it tries to figure it out on its own, and if it's wrong and you start like messing with it, if you didn't close that text box up front, it's just going to keep messing with it, and it's like infuriating. I found like if you close the paste text box and then mess with it, it works a lot better. It doesn't try to get smart.
Technology is wonderful.
Chris says ShipStation has a global post program as well. I never got into ShipStation. Thankfully I wrote my I wrote a program to pull orders, and I integrated it with Pirate Ship before ShipStation took over PayPal.
All right. Do you know what this is? Unfortunately, I can't copy and paste this. This part here he's talking about.
Let me see. It's a Duplo brick. With like a he sold it for $22 apparently, because it's the only
$22 Duplo brick. All right.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Here, I'll send you the link. You can share your screen if you want.
All right.
I put it in the private chat.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, that's funny. All right. Presents. Screen. This one here.
I've sold a couple of those promo Duplo bricks too, but because I got them in like bulk, but they were already in a bag. But yeah, that's crazy.
Right. So many ways to play.
2010.
Cool. I love it.
But you can see last 6 months sales and current items for sale. He was the only one. You know how much you've sold it for.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple Legoland Christmas Duplo bricks somewhere. I thought I had them on display back there, but whatever. They're around somewhere. I don't know what the hell to do with those. Apparently, I should just list them.
Just list them. Everything sells eventually.
Yeah. For some reason, it doesn't even strike me that Duplo is the thing I should list.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It takes up a lot of room. Doesn't sell for very much, so it's a lot of sellers don't list it just because of that trade-off. You know.
Yeah. I also have a 3-year-old, so a lot of Duplo is still in use around here.
Yeah.
So
well, it does make for good filler brick. I use that. You see that red stand I'm building over here? It's just like you can see the end of it. That the bottom of that is filled with Duplo just because it took up a lot.
It's the beauty of Lego systems, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So thinking of Duplo and odd things, are there some things that you don't sell? Or won't sell, I should say? Things that are too big, things that you just couldn't be bothered with.
Big ship holes. I've gotten burned a couple of times in that. I'll still sell them, but I'll list them higher now because to cover the cost. But like you can sell a ship hole for maybe $4 to $10, but then if that's all they get, I have flat rate shipping, so it's like $5.35. Shipping for that's going to be like $7 or more, depending on where it's going. So sometimes like shipping costs more than the what you're getting. I've had that before where I sold those ship haul and it was like, this is costing me money.
Yeah, I remember I had plain wings that I sold on eBay and got burnt on those.
Yeah. I don't think so. Like I can't think of anything else that I won't sell. Yeah. I can't think of anything.
Awesome. Yeah. There's a few things that I pulled out of buckets. I'm basically 100% used, and I'm just learning that everything sells eventually, and I'll pull them
Right.
out and I'll just throw it into a different bucket. Like I'm not even going to bother because nobody's ever going to buy that.
Yeah.
It'll all get listed eventually, but
Yeah.
it's
The
hard to get motivated for some things.
things that you think, well, I'm not interested in that. I won't list that. Like I thought that for with uh Bionicle. I was like, what is this crap? You know, like I would never use this. That's like, you know, you list a bunch of Bionicle every couple of months, somebody will come through and buy out, you know, place a big order of all Bionicle parts. There's a big Bionicle community, you know, so like
Yeah,
there's that. You just don't know about it, you know, like it's just not in your wheelhouse. But hey, if you sell it,
yeah. I think it's more like the mini doll torsos that are just really hard to get ambition to list those.
and they still sell, you know, like
Yeah,
there's lots of you gotta think about how many independent Lego stores there are out there right now that have like build minifigure stations. You know,
yeah,
they come through my store at least once a month, twice a month, and buy a lot of generic minifigures, a lot of the city minifigures. That was one thing when I was starting out, like city minifigures, I would have just ignored. You know, now I list all of them because you know bricks and minifigures are looking for them. You know, all those torsos that like you think are you know, although it's only a quarter, I'll you know get to the Star Wars stuff. You know, somebody will come through, they'll place a $200 $300 order of all those generic stuff. So yeah, it sells. You just got to
yeah.
list it.
Torsos I don't mind listing because it feels like something of substance.
Right, right.
Like while I was out hurt and just kind of standing around, like
Hmm.
literally standing around, I was just going through and doing some quality control, popping arms off and whatnot.
Hmm.
And I was listing all of like the strip torsos because a dime here and whatever.
All right.
But then you look at the pile of the mini doll torsos, and they don't look real to me. They feel strange. They sound odd.
Yep.
It looks like a bunch of plastic like centipedes when you drop too many in a container, just all the little arms sticking out.
Yep.
I don't know, but all right, you sold me. Go get up there.
Oh, Chris, what was that? What was that joke doll that you guys had at your in your basement that the guys kept hiding around? What was Galador? Galador, that was it. Uh,
Oh God,
yeah,
those things are horrifying.
yeah, yeah. That was like a big. It looked like it looked like a Ken, you know, like a Ken doll from Barbie. Like that's how weird it was.
Yeah, Lego's done some weird stuff. But
Yeah,
Galador was it Paradisa? I think was the other weird one. The Barbie doll looking things with the
yeah,
hair.
yeah. They've done some
Yeah.
weird
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason that they almost went bankrupt.
I did a show with Chris at Bricks on a Dollar for a while. He did this weekly show called Building Up to It. And we did a couple of shows where he just went through themes and like he would just dump the knowledge of like all these old themes and like we went through some, you know, Belleville and some weird themes that I would never even be interested in. I was
Oh,
just
maybe it was Belleville was the one
yeah,
that was
yeah,
like the weird Barbie things.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Well, speaking of weird things, they what was they just went in Bionicle. There was a Bionicle group uh, of developers building a Bionicle game, and like they had the support of Lego for like 10 years. And just recently, they pulled the plug. They told them to stop. I was like, you guys were publicly endorsing this, and now you're telling us to stop. That's like weird.
Yeah, that means they're going to put out a direct competitor themselves.
Yeah, well, they also now
That's
they've
what
got
that's
like
what.
you know like Lego content creators like nervous too. It's like are they going to come after me next? You know, like, yeah. Um, Caleb at Cheesy Studios that does, you know, a lot of Minecraft stuff. He put out a community post the other day about it. And he's like, are they going to come after content creators next? Well, like, we have no idea. Like, this is a weird thing for them to do.
It, I forget what set it was, but just recently, like for might have been for the May releases. I don't remember. Somebody posted a picture of one of the sets a couple days. before the reveal on a store shelf. So nothing sneaky. It was out for the general public to see. They shared a picture of it, and they got their account shut down. It's terrible. I mean, that's not top secret information. It was on a retailer shelf.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see both sides, I guess.
Now it's pulling the picture down. Sure, I understand. Like, hey, you know, we didn't mean for this to go out there.
Close the account. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a little too far. I see. Yeah, I see your point there.
A lot of people, you know, it's a pretty good side hustle doing this stuff on Instagram or whatever they're monetizing.
Yeah.
You don't want to take money away from people for something like that. Just slap them on the wrist, take the picture down.
Me and Derek at Pop's Lock Shop, when we were doing the Brick Separator podcast, we had interviewed Caleb at Cheesy Studios, and he was 700 subscribers back then when we interviewed him. He was, if you don't know Caleb was season 2 of Lego Masters. It was him and his brother Jacob, and they went to the finals. They were finalists, and we did a whole interview with 2 episodes with him, talking about how he buys on Bricklink, which I thought was fascinating. He's got almost 200,000 subscribers now. I don't even know how many paid members he's got, but I know he's got a lot. So
that's a big jump.
Paid members is where the real money is on YouTube. That's for sure.
Doesn't YouTube take 50% though, or some crazy number?
30%. That's like industry standard. Yeah, but still, I make more money on memberships than I do on the ads. Like, it's not even close. And I only have 50, 60 members on my channel. So
I forget what the platform fees are over on WAP, but I think we're only paying, I think it was like 10% or something, 13% or something over there. It's fairly low.
On what?
WAP?
I haven't even heard that.
They started as a competitor for like Patreon, things like that.
I see.
They're really hard to use. Like they're a bunch of 20-something-year-olds starting up a tech company. It's very hard for an old guy to use, I feel. But the platform fees are reasonable, and customer service is very good.
Well, the fees are reasonable now, but they'll go up. They'll go up to match everything else once they get members. That's how that works.
I think. I forget. They did something crazy. It's $500 million or something in revenue last year, something like that. So they're doing all right.
And they probably still
2 years in, it's been okay. No, yeah, they might not have. They're paying their staff very well over there. Yeah, they've worked out all right. Yeah, I think I've been with them for 2 years now. It's been okay.
Yeah, if they're VC funded, yeah, that's definitely they're trying to get feet in the door, like members in their platform. That's how they'll lose a lot of money to get the members, and then once they do, then they'll raise the rates.
Yeah. That's right. Hopefully I'll be making enough money by then that it won't matter.
Yeah.
or enough to buy a sandwich or two. That'll be okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. With real meat, not just peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. So you mentioned Derek a couple of times. Did you know him prior to Bricklink?
I did not. No. I remember when I started dabbling in YouTube, and the first video I saw of his was August 2019. He did a sales report when he went over his numbers, and I thought that was just fantastic that he shared all those numbers. Then I saw he was doing vlogs, and I was like, this is brilliant, because that was I always thought, especially back when I started, there was there was a group of Bricklink YouTubers, as we call them, right? That was prominent back then. Bricks on a Dollar. I can't think of the name. There was a couple, right, that I would watch, but I always thought there was this life cycle, right? You get interested, you get into it, you start sharing what you're doing, you start doing videos specifically on specific ideas. Chris had this idea of like, ask me a question, I'll just do a video on it. He went pretty long on that for a while, but then you like the life cycle sort of ends, right? But Derek had this great ability to, or vision to do a vlog, and it was like, where does it end? You know, it ends when you get sick of doing it, not when like there's no more content left to do, because running a bricklink store and the information you need for a bricklink store is finite, right? Like we see this all the time. Like bricklink YouTubers come up, they get real popular, and then like they run out of things to talk about, and they sort of fizzle back out. I'm in the fizzle out stage right now. You know, like it's just how it is. So
yeah, so it's interesting watching Derek, and I don't know if Noah's still in here, but I watch him as well, where when the vlog comes out, there's a lot of days in there. I can't imagine feeling like I have something interesting to say every day.
Right.
And
I think also a lot of times, you know, I'll have Derek's video on in the background, and I'm just sort of vaguely paying attention. You know, I'm getting the gist of what he's doing now, everything that he's doing. You know, like I don't get the details, sort of thing. But it's like, you know, Noah's great because like he's new, and so like he's interesting to me because like he's doing. It's kind of funny. Like I like watching him because he's like taking a lot of things that, you know, I showed him and Derek showed him and Justin Brick and Bucket showed him, you know, and he's like integrated that into a store. But then he's like doing his own things, like, you know, like how he's set up his minifigures on base plates to be able to.
That was awesome.
You know, pull them out and like put them on convention, you know, because like I have that problem right now. Like at one point I wanted to do convention shows. If I were to do a convention show, I'd have to pull out all of my minifigures out of my drawers. That'd be a pain in the butt. But like, yeah, okay. Now, if I were ever to do that, I put them back on base plates, and that's how I would do it. So,
yeah, he put all the little bracelets on them.
I don't know if I would go that far. I think that was a feature of Bricker, right? Like being able to. I think Bricker, like that's like one of those innovations that came along recently that's like pushed everybody forward a little bit more again. You know, like there's like things every now and every couple of years that push sellers a little bit further. The last thing was Brick and Knives. This time it's Bricker. I would love to use Bricker. It's a little bit too expensive for me. And I don't know. It would offer so much more things I could do with it, but the 3.5% is a little steep, but
yeah,
Noah's in there. Barcodes all the way. I'm putting barcodes on everything. Put it on your cats. I want to see you put them on your cats.
Yeah, the cats interest me. So I see, because I read before I order from anybody, I read every little detail.
Yeah.
And so often people say, oh, you know, it comes from a smoke-free, pet-free home, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know if people are concerned about that. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere with allergies that has to pay attention. That's
My
fine.
kids are deathly allergic to cats. So like knowing that there might be a cat hair or something coming in, I would, you know, like if my kids were still living in the house, my youngest one is like the worst one, allergic. He would swell up, and it would be a big thing. Whenever we went to another friend's house that had dogs or cats that shed, we would come home, change our clothes, take a shower before we'd interact with, you know, anybody. Wow. That was like the first thing we had to do. So like I understand that. The smoke free is like you don't want your brick smelling like smoke. Like, so I get that.
That one's really strange to me, because that should be a no-brainer.
It's not.
No,
it's not to some people.
Nothing is these days.
Right.
But like,
I think if you're
whatever product you're selling, you shouldn't be smoking around. That's just.
If you're a hardcore smoker, you don't care. You don't smell it. A, you don't smell it, and B, you don't care. You know, and so it's like, yeah, you don't understand that the things that you send out are like irradiating smoke out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been a smoker for friggin' forever at this point. I haven't had a cigarette indoors in 30 years.
My in-laws were heavy indoor smokers, and it was it was very
that's
bad.
rough.
We would leave there at Christmas time, and just like disgustingly smelling.
Yeah. We were talking at work today about the days when you could still smoke in the mall, just walking around the mall. Those were different times.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah, that was a different world back then.
Yep.
So, okay, your what are they? The Sterilite drawers you have, the white ones. You posted a video a while ago about the whatever you call them, the takeout trays, however that you fold up, put in.
The food trays. So this came from BBB Brick Store. This was his idea. So basically, you take the food tray, take the little flaps off, because like they're angled, and then you fold it in a way so that they're square, and then use these to store within the sterilized trays. And you could fit, depending on what size you buy. There's like different sizes of these food trays. This one's a 3-pound. You can see on it'll hold 3 pounds of food. I'll say that there. Some people, Daddy-O Bricks, I know, uses 2 pounds. I don't know if Chris uses 2 pounds. You could, depending on what you get. I went with 3 pounds because Ben recommended it at Beehive Brick Store. The side walls go all the way up on the Sterilite containers, so like you can use all of the vertical space. But the 2 pound, you can fit more of these things inside of, and they fit better within the drawer. The 3 pound, you can fit 8 in a drawer. I don't remember how many you can do. Maybe 12. I think you can do 12 containers.
Okay, so you can get 2s for variety and 3s for more quantity.
Yeah. What I do is I take, when I was transitioning over, because I was using when I first transitioned, I was using shoe boxes, and so I had to transition the shoe boxes into the Sterilite drawers, which is amazing how much space I saved doing that. But I took 2 of these, and I combined them together to make like a double tray, and that like fit like pretty much the shoe bin size.
Okay. So I guess the next question then is, in your list of supplies that you put in your show descriptions, how come those aren't listed in there?
Because I can't get them.
Or I just missed them.
I can't get them on Amazon. Or the Amazon price is ridiculous. You can get them at Walmart. Walmart, it's like $11.98. But everything that's listed there is everything you can get on Amazon, because I get affiliate. By the way, affiliate money more than ad revenue. Ad revenue sucks on YouTube, if you haven't guessed.
Yeah, I do better in affiliate commissions than most of the other things that I do. It's so you're only getting affiliate commissions through Amazon?
Yeah. I just throw them on the description. It's amazing how many people actually click those things. It's funny. I don't even push it that much, or at all.
If you're a trusted resource, people know where to look, right?
Yeah. The whole idea, and it's like, it's all the stuff that I use. So like, it's not like I'm pushing anything that's, like I didn't get sponsored or anything. Nobody's telling me to push it. It's just like, these are the things I use. These are the things that makes my life easier. So.
Yeah, but if anyone wants to chime in and sponsor you, Spartan Industrial wants to start sending you free bags, might not be terrible.
I'll take a sponsorship from these guys that are building these sorting machines, and Chris's Great Brick Labs Discord. If you want me to sponsor that, that'd be great. Sponsor me for that.
They're building them, like people in the Discord are building them.
Yeah, okay. There's one in there that's like almost ready to start selling it. So.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember the show where he was talking about there being 2 different versions and comparing the 2 with that whole conversation. That was really interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation, because Chris and I had a conversation, I don't know, 2 years ago, and he was like, he came to me and he was like, can you help me support my project with the sorting machines? And I'm like, I don't want you to finish this. This will like really change the landscape of Bricklink as a seller. Like I, like that's not a project I really want to see finished, to be honest with you. It's like either I have to buy that machine to compete, or it's like, it's gonna make all these smaller sellers like obsolete, I think. I don't know. I could be thinking about it all wrong. I'm more of a I'm more scared of change, I guess. Kind of a person.
When I first got into Lego investing, I was worried about sharing any kind of information and all of the channels that are out there, because you're teaching your competition.
Yeah.
And then I realized that most of the people that try are lazy and they'll fail or they'll screw up in some kind of way. And then most of the rest of the people will try it for a little while and then they'll get distracted by some other kind of shiny object. So most of the people that start will kind of crash out anyway. So if that machine became available, there would be a lot of used ones on the market very quickly, and then you could get yours for cheap. That's my thought.
Maybe. I don't know. I think the price would be prohibitive enough, I think. And it's I think the way they're doing it is I think you buy a license or something, or in a material list, and you have to build it yourself. So
that would rule me right out.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it's a high barrier to entry. Like if they sold it as, already put together and you just buy it and, pay a licensing monthly fee or something, that's different, I think.
Yeah. It's, I'm perfectly capable of building things. I don't want to. Like, I don't even want to build a 3D printer. Like,
I think the expertise level on that would be a little higher, like you're going to have to, I don't know, I'm guessing, but you'd have to like solder motherboards together and then build, fabricate and build. I think it would be very, very hard unless it came already packaged together.
Yeah. Imagine what the shipping cost on that would be.
I don't know if it's worth it. I just saw a Reddit post today. Chris, you'd be interested in this. I was going to send it to you, but I didn't because it was right before the show. Somebody has a sorting machine, does 1,200 parts an hour, and was gauging whether or not there was interest in a service for that. I would be like, what do you say? $1 a pound to do this? And but it just doesn't sound practical. Like you'd have to send them your bulk, and what do you get back? You just get back. How is he sorting it? In categories? Is he sorting it down to specific colors? Like, yeah, he didn't go into details there, but be interesting.
So with sorting machines like that, does the level of sort matter more for you than it does for Chris? Because you are still consolidated, right? So a very fine breakdown matters more for you than it does for him, right?
I think it still matters for him too, because he's still got to list it, right? Like he's still got to go through. Like it's easier to list 100 1x2 plates, if they're all together versus individually. Just going, why sort it if you're just gonna go through a pile anyways?
Yeah, but if it was a charge per breakdown, he might be able to skip a step, that kind of thing.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how the price would break down.
Yeah, you listen to that show. We went down like, how far do you sort? Like, I don't know.
Pick up a handful of parts to fill a drawer. Yeah.
Yeah. See, why do you need to sort it at that point? I could just take.
Yeah.
I could just take my handful of my bulk right now and just fill a drawer if I was unconsolidated, right? Like, why do I have to sort?
Yeah. That just sounds horrifying to me.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I'm also very small, so
I mean, there's some level of sorting you need to do to make it at least somewhat easier, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's a lot better at finding things than I am. She handles most of sorting and putting everything away.
Mm.
But whatever we're at, 1,600 drawers or something, if I ask her where something is, she can just walk over and get it.
She knows where it is because of the way you put it away.
Yeah.
Oof.
Right?
What?
Yeah. She could just knows where things are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, I mean, within a foot or so, you know.
I strongly suggest start using remarks because there's gonna get a time where it gets too big where you're not gonna remember, and then you're gonna spend more time looking.
We got to, I think we were at about 1,200 drawers before we decided to have a Bricklink store. That wasn't part of the plan. And then it got to the point where it's like, okay, well, now we have so much, we kind of need to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was the wrong place to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I started putting parts together, like almost unconsolidated, but it was like parts, and you just look for the color. That was back when I was at the apartment, and I was just had half my bedroom, as my store. So, I was conserving space as much as I could. But then when I moved here and I put it up and I started, really expanding out, I was like, it took me a couple of years just to get those parts, sort of separated out, So I'm still doing it. Every now and then I'll come across a drawer that's got a whole bunch of colors together. I'm like, oh, especially when they sell all of one color. It's like, oh, this is going to suck.
That's miserable. We have a couple drawers that are just, it's just round studs of virtually every color. Well, I think we might have 2 or 3 of them. There's the, black, white, and the grays, and then one of, as she hands me one. So yeah, it's just a drawer of every friggin' color.
Yeah.
And that's a miserable experience.
Somebody bought all your red ones. Think about how much fun that would be.
Oh, it'd be awful.
Yeah.
And
that happens to me all the time. When people buy stuff for me now, they're buying all of my lot. And so a drawer like that, I'd stop. I literally stop pulling the order. I'll separate it out, and then I'll continue on. I won't deal with that.
Yeah. I was very surprised how many people buy large quantities. It didn't occur to me that somebody would come in and buy 500 of the same part.
Well, they're either a reseller or they're a builder that they just they're just buying everything that they can because they don't know how much they really need. But
yeah, we have he's our first regular customer, and he's fairly local, and when he's building something because he'll buy 500 2x6 and dark bluish gray, and then 500 of something else. And then we'll be really excited. We got a great sale, and then the container's empty, and it's like, well, shit, that was a pretty good part. Now we don't have any more.
Yeah,
it's disappointing. It's a great problem.
Ben says hire 15 sorters at $2 a pound. Sorting machine sounds great, but people are much better. I think that's where we got to in that seller chat in my channel, which was, and I think that's where Chris landed too, which was, sorting machine sounds great, but there's too much babysitting. There's too much error that could be entered in. You just don't know what's happening. Where you can pay somebody a set amount, and that you're relatively positive that it's going to come out the way you want it.
I'd rather give the money to a person.
Yeah,
just on a human level, I would rather do that.
That's because we're not corporate enough.
Yeah.
We don't want to give our money to ourselves yet.
Yeah. God forbid we keep any of the money.
Right.
Why would we want to do that? Okay, so you're on Bricklink, Brick Owl, and on eBay, correct?
I am on eBay. I think currently I have nothing for sale on eBay. I think I
Okay.
had a Deadpool. I had a fake Deadpool minifigure on there that sold recently, and that was the last
Fake
thing I
one.
had. Yeah, I found it
What?
in a bulk, and I
Okay.
just wanted to get rid of it, so I put it on eBay. Sat there for quite a while.
So are you empty there because it's more work than it's worth, or because the money just isn't different enough versus Bricklink?
I'm empty there. It's a lot of work. So like every listing requires photos, making sure you got
Yeah.
the right description. I was doing it. I was doing. Have you heard of Tech and Sports?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
followed Tech and Chris Lynn for a long time.
so yeah. So I was. Derek introduced me to him long ago, and back when they were doing the reseller podcast.
Yeah.
But his thing is consistency, right? Like, um, so if you're going to do eBay, you got to list every day to satisfy the eBay algorithm. Like there's
Yeah.
whatever. So like, if you want to make, depending on how much you want to make, like you need to list 10 items a day. That sounds easy until you realize it's every day. You need to find 10 good items. It becomes really hard, right? And so when I was doing minifigures, I was trying to do 5 a day, which was really hard. But then like that 5 a day means you take 5 to 10 photographs of that minifigure. Then you have to transfer all those photos to your computer. You have to upload them to eBay, crop them a little bit so they look nice, that they're zoomed in, do a little photo editing so that like they pop a little bit. Then you have to write out the title, you have to write out the description, you have to set all of the item specifics on it. Like Tech always says he could do it in 30 seconds, and that's just because he's using templates and he's using predefined stuff. And I did that too, and I could get it up pretty quickly. It was just the images, finding the stock. I found that like you can't see it. I have a couple sets of drawers sitting on the wall there. That used to be my eBay stock, right? Like that used to be the um like Derek Pop's Box Shop. He has like all these drawers that he just uses to build minifigures for eBay. That was my equivalent there. It's a lot of money to fill those drawers, to go after specific minifigures. So I think I was spending as much as I was making, and I just realized I was taking time away from Bricklink and Brick Owl
Yeah.
and putting all my money back into eBay that really was just sustaining itself. And so I wound up quitting doing that, consistently on eBay.
But it opened up the door for you to be more consistent on Bricklink, so you can have that system, right?
Or upload, yeah, at least upload more. I think if I was using Bricker and Chris at Great Brick Lab just did this last week, you can now easily list your minifigures over on eBay from your Bricklink store, and it's all syncing now. So like again, Bricker is like one of those things that's pushing the envelope of what's possible, because it's now not just syncing Bricklink and Brickowl, but you can sell on eBay, you can sell on Shopify, you could sell on whatever other platform that they're integrated.
And they charge 3.5%. Is that what it was?
Bricker does, yeah, on every sale, yeah, which is a lot, compared to like Brick Freedom was 1% of the grand total. Brick Packer was 1% of the order total. What was the other ones? I think that was it. I know there's a couple others, but I can't think of them at the moment. But yeah, it was like 1% was always the thing, and then I understand it. That does a lot. It does a lot of great stuff. Like Bricker does like you guys were talking with Noah at the Brick Shed. He's now doing unconsolidated because Bricker consolidates the front end for him. Like it just offers so much more ability to do things faster or more widespread. So Chris always has his ear to everybody. Like he always reaches out and he's saying more options are coming. So he knows.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear more about that. So 3.5%. Where, excuse, where does that charge come from? Is that on top of tax and shipping and everything else, or is that based
I
on
don't know. I don't
sales?
know, to be honest with you. I didn't look that deep into it, but hopefully it's not on tax and shipping. That was one thing that made me not want to use Brick Freedom because it was on tax and shipping. And I was like, whoa, really? that like caught me off guard.
Oh, just the sale of the party says. Okay, well
Okay, yeah,
that's
that's
way better.
yeah, that's much better.
Okay, all right, huh? That's interesting then. And
I'm still Brick Sync. I'm still like I like my free stuff.
yeah, yeah. So, BF Brick Freedom. I'm assuming that is capped at 99. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. That's a interesting point, but I wound up building out. I went the do it yourself route. I built my old. I tried Brick Freedom for 2 weeks, and then there was something about the syncing I didn't really care for. Plus the this was when like it was revealed that like he was charging 1% on the grand total instead of just the order total, and I was like, you know what, I'll go do something else because I was doing uh Brickpacker at the time, which was 1% of the order total to do the syncing. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to pay more. So let me check out. I'm gonna switch back to either Brickpacker or let me check out BrickSync. And I went back to BrickSync. And BrickSync's an old program. It like people think it's like outdated and that kind of thing. And the original program is there is a community fork of it because it's all open source software and it's maintained by a community of sellers. So when new colors come out, a couple of sellers try to figure out how to add it in. And they add it in, release it, and it works again. So it works well.
on the topic of software, it's I have to ask you at least vaguely about yours
Sure.
because Derek mentions it once like every show.
Yeah.
Uh,
He mentions that it's private because both me and him get hounded a lot by people that
yeah,
want to use it.
I almost feel like him saying that it's private makes more people ask about it.
It's funny. It's like all you guys are seeing is like the order details page, right? Like that of us
Yeah,
pulling it. What you don't see is like it's a pretty bare bones, crappy program that's like put together with spit and tape. It's like it's nothing to release at the moment. And when I set it up for Derek, and I set it up for Derek because he did the podcast for me, with me, and and he was suffering with ShipStation when he got switched over to it. He was like, "Help me," and I was like, "I can give you the program," like. And he's like, "Yes." It took us an hour to set that up, so like it's not easy. Like I don't have it streamlined for release at all, and it works for my workflow specifically. And luckily, me and Derek have the same workflow. Um, and so, yeah, it works for us. It doesn't work won't do multi-order picking. It doesn't do batches, which I haven't figured out how to do that. So like if somebody puts in an order and says, leave my order open, and then does it like another order, it adds it to that same order. I haven't figured out how to do that. Like that's yeah. So like there's things wrong with it, but it works for me. I don't have hold my order open, so like that's why I never programmed it in. So yeah.
now, do you feel like building that has kept you from using other things, or do
Oh
you
yeah,
find yourself still using other things?
no. Like
Okay.
I'd probably be on Bricker right now if I didn't have my program. But the program keeps me from going over there. I think Bricker is really great. Like I had a Shopify site. It would have been great if Bricker was available, but when I had the Shopify site, then I could have like spread that across everything. But yeah. I think the consolidated debate would have been moot we had like a couple of years debate of consolidated, but
It was so ugly. The
I think
shopping experience was miserable.
that was the big thing, right? Like, who cares like how long somebody takes to order or pull your order in your store, because it's you suffering it. It was like the customer experience, I thought, was the big thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I really think the big convenience there is like uploading fast, right? Like getting things uploaded fast. I suffer a lot, especially with with my foot problem right now. But like, getting, consolidating my store is like very time consuming. It doesn't take long to pull, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm glad Bricker like made that a solution. Like, they did the solution I thought was I would have done if I were, like, build a set. You had to build a separate database and like, track everything separately outside of the stores, and that's what they're doing.
that there's been a lot of times that I've been shopping at stores and I've just left because the experience was so bad. You don't have it moved up to 100 pieces at a time. So on this, when it's still small, you only get 2 items on the page because there's so many listings. It's like
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Me,
I don't want to
me
do
and
that.
Derek, did a whole episode on unconsolidated and consolidated, and we didn't say whose store it was at the time, but it was Chris's store. And we pulled up Chris's store of blue or black legs. I can't remember what it was. And it was like a full page of 100,
Oh,
lots. And he said,
oh man.
I think he said on like one of our seller streams, he's like, yeah, I went right then and there, went through and consolidated all our black legs right after that.
Yeah, that's so much. It's hard to shop, and it's up until very, very recently, I was a customer only on Bricklink,
Mm.
and I don't know how many orders I placed in there, but enough. Yeah, just rough. And it's yes, I did that.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that. Yeah, it's a tough spot to shop, and not being able to shop, being able to just hit the have Bricklink suggest stores for me.
Mm.
It would be really nice if I could just hit that button and buy everything. But that's
Right.
never going to happen
No.
because you go broke like that.
Yeah, I don't use easy buy. I do buy all, and then like I use the filters at the top to get, exactly what I want. And then, then I start shopping from there,
Is there? So you were talking about building minifigures and that taking a lot of work. Is there a way in Bricklink or any of the other things that you've used where, say, I'm adding a pair of legs to my store, and while I'm adding them in, I see that they go to pick somebody generic, Harry Potter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to quickly look to see if I have all of the other parts in my store to complete that?
You can, well, after you add it. So Brickstore has this. I did a video on this about 6 months ago or so. There's a website called whatthefig.com. I think they were gonna charge or something. I haven't heard much from them lately, but they were gonna charge like a yearly annual fee or something. And I was like, Daddy O Bricks actually in the chat showed me this feature of Brickstore where you can highlight all of the parts that you have in a file. So whether it's in your store or things that you just uploaded at the time, and then you can go to, let me look at it. If you go to the item inventory tab, there's tabs at the top of that. It says appears in, then there's one that says consists of, and then there's one that says can build. It looks like a brick wall. If you click on that and you have all, like have all the parts highlighted, it'll show you all the things that you can build with all those parts, whether it's sets or minifigures or whatever. But if you have just like all your minifigure parts highlighted or selected, you can hit that can build and you can see all of the minifigure parts, minifigures that you can build out of those parts.
It's awesome.
I don't know how easy it would be to like remove those parts from your store, but at least then you can at least see that and then do something with that information.
Yeah, that could be really worthwhile if you have the figs that are worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you find an $18 pair of legs,
Right. You want to know what you got.
chances are, you know, the whole thing is worth something.
Yeah. I would have, when I was doing eBay, that would have been a great feature to know of because I'm sure that was there. I just didn't know it back then. But yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. Before I was selling a Bricklink, it's 6 months ago, 8 months ago, or something. I found a Darth Malgus head,
Mm-hmm.
and I sold that on eBay for like $70. It was the only part of them I found, so it's like I'm not going to hang on to just a head. That
Right.
was good money, and
Right.
it was like double what Bricklink wanted for it. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah. And then
3 days ago, I found his cape.
well,
So
then you paid 13% fees to eBay. Yeah.
yeah, well, I found the cape and I sold the cape on Bricklink. It sold within like 6 hours of listing it.
That's crazy.
So now I'm worried that the rest of the minifigure is going to turn up.
Oh, well, right.
I
I
mean,
don't know. How much can you get for Darth Malgus altogether? Maybe it's
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to look now that I've sold the cape and the head.
Well, don't look now. You'll ruin the rest of the show.
Yeah. I don't even know who Darth Malgus is. Like I don't remember him being featured in any of the mainstream stuff. So I don't know if it was a book or a video game or where he.
There's been a lot of cartoons out that I just don't remember, and there's a lot of like legends stuff that they've done. So yeah, it's probably something I missed.
So did you have a background in I don't even know what you call it, programming, I guess?
Yeah. So I went to school for computer science. Then I switched over to information technology. I was a web developer for 12 years at a branding company of all places. We built out basically a content management system. Then I was doing some volunteer work for an open source software called jQuery, which at the height when I was doing the volunteer work, like 4 out of 5 sites on the internet were using jQuery. Probably StreamYard using jQuery at this moment. But yeah, that was like that. Like I said when I was talking to you, was I saying it during the show or before the show that I reached number 2 in Apple for podcasts. That I was doing a podcast on jQuery at the time. So then I worked for 3 years doing work, like consulting work for companies, doing jQuery work, front end work. And then the last 10 years, I worked for Atlassian, which was like Jira and Confluence. And, we were doing, we were working with partners on building apps for our marketplace to integrate with those products. So, yeah, very much programming background.
Okay. So the program you built is actually more suited to your background than Bricklink is.
Yeah, I mean, somebody asked me one time, like, "Why are you building this? What? Just use a Brick Freedom?" I'm like, "It's fun. I'm having fun doing this." Like, again, this is a hobby for me. At the time, this was a hobby for me, and building this program was fun. And I was learning about the API. I was, putting things together. It was cool and fun. I enjoyed it.
It's awesome. We have an app that we've been working on for a while, Lego shopping app. So a lot of investment data and things like that. And the guy that's doing the majority of the work, it's unbelievable watching him do the things that he does. And he's a mad scientist as far as I'm concerned, because none of it means anything.
You're not talking about Brick Metrics, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. There's a Brick Dynasty web app out there.
Oh, I see.
And he's done some really cool things. And I'll just say, hey, it would be really cool if uh, for Amazon sellers to use Kiba to get all the Amazon data.
Mhm.
It'd be cool if we could get, it's the last 90 days worth of buy box averages in there and compare it to our buy cost for investing. So, oh, no problem. I'll have that in tomorrow. And then all of a sudden you see a little siggly line. It's like, we're at 3.5 times your buy cost. It's like, it doesn't even make sense how we put that in there. It's
Yeah.
just the coolest thing to me.
Yeah.
I almost don't want to learn because it would take some of the wonder away.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always awesome to me. All right. So I have to ask the question. I asked Noah this, and I'll ask you too, because it's the worst question, but I'm sure somebody watching is going to want to know. How much do you have in your need to have in your store before you can hit regular sales? What, yeah.
I think that number slides as we go down the timeline. Back when I started, the number was like 25,000 parts, and you should expect like one order a day. I don't think that's true anymore. Um, I think I don't even know where I think it might be 100,000 parts, to get one order a day. I don't know where it is, but I know it's not 25,000 because I see a lot of new sellers that are fairly small. And maybe you could tell me you're at 44. What would you say? 44,000, 47,000?
Yeah. Right around 44.
And how many are you getting a day?
Um, I've had 5 in the last 24 hours, but I went
Oh,
like 5 days without one prior to that.
right.
So
Okay.
it's
So
about
one a
one a
day.
day.
Yeah, one a day. So maybe it's 50,000. Maybe 50,000 is the number, to get one a day. But it also is like, it also depended on variety that you have too, right? Like, if you have 50,000 minifigure parts, you might get 10 orders a day, but if you have 50,000 1x2 plates, it might take you, one order a month, one order a week. It's very, very much dependent on the parts, I think.
Yeah.
And are you hitting like I said before, are you hitting their wanted lists? It's all about hitting wanted lists. It's not about how many parts you have anymore. It's do you have the parts that they want in one order?
So you think a lot focus is more important than a part focus?
Yeah.
Or do you need a pretty solid balance? You need multiples as well.
I think you need a little bit of both. I think that's what I'm seeing. Like, it's beneficial for me to have high quantities of parts that flip easier because then I don't have to go after them all the time. But then, like the parts that I have variety of, my used parts, I don't really feel like I need high quantities of those. I just need them. I just need to have that variety in my store to sort of help fill in the gaps of the wanted list of a buyer's wanted list. I think most buyers want to buy new. I think, in my opinion, I don't know. My data suggests that a lot of buyers want to buy new. Maybe that's just because my inventory is skewed more new than it is used. But my sales data sort of says, what is it? 75% of my parts are new that are sold versus 25% that are used. So I still think new is key, and so that's why I go after those high sought after parts, and then fill in the gaps. Like I said, go after that 25% with the used that I have.
How far would you like to grow? Have you
I
thought
know
about
it's
that?
I'm having a hard time growing past where I'm going right now. Like I watch Noah. Like when I first found Noah at the brick shed, he was at what 300,000 parts and 1,800 lots. What's he at now? 500,000 parts and 30,000 parts. And I'm like, this is what he's got. He's got a partner. He's got employees, and I'm doing it by myself, right? So like trying to grow bigger. I'd love to be at 1 million. I really would, because like I know Derek complains a lot on his channel about low sales, but like and I think I mentioned this on a vlog of mine at one point. Everybody's looking at your numbers. If you're sharing any kind of numbers, everybody's looking at your number. Somebody's looking at your numbers going, I wish I was where he was at. That's what I do when I look at Derek's numbers. It's like he's complaining and I'm like going, that would be a really good day for me. It's like, you know.
Yeah. I see his numbers and his videos and I say, you know, I'm not getting up at 5 a.m.
But you also get, well, he's not sharing the whole story. He's just sharing what he's getting in that day. He's not sharing how much he's spending to make that, you know, like, and he's not sharing his needs for his family, you know, like I don't do that either, you know, so like, yeah, but yeah, definitely. I mean, his number that he wants every day is around the number that I would need every day. So like, I understand where he's coming from. It's like I'm looking at his numbers going, that's still a good day for me.
Yeah, I mean, in anybody's situation, you know, it's any of these sales reports, whatever kind of video.
Yeah.
Nobody ever gets all of the information, and nobody should share any of that, right?
No.
It's off air. Everybody's got a private life. And
I get a lot of comments on my videos like, how do you live? And it's like, I don't share everything, you know, I don't share all the income I have. I have other streams of income, but like this is, you know, like this is just a part of my income right now. Am I making my bills? No, I'm not making my bills right now. You know, like I need to do a little bit better. And January, February, March was the closest I've came. Like we were dead even. It was great. And now, you know, now I think I've said it in my sales reports. Now we're starting to slide that back down the other way with the summer slowdown. So like, yeah.
Yeah, but it could turn. You know, you could do something different. You could just hit a different payload. You find yourself just the right bulk lot of some sort of, you know, minifigure or something, turn your report right around, right?
Chris at Bricks and a Dollar is like, this is the time you use the time in the summer to keep uploading and get bigger so that you make more money in the next cycle.
Yeah.
And he's right. You know, like you shouldn't take the time off to go spend time outside like all your buyers. Like you should be like digging in even more when it's hard because you're not making the sales to upload even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, Great Brick Lab has a goal of 2,000 sales a day, but he's got employees, right? Like me and Derek don't really have employees. Well, Derek's got his family who's helping out, but like me and him are doing it solo. So like our needs are, you know, what is my needs? $669. $669 is what no, that's not what I have because that's with what I've uploaded today. What is it? Hold on. My upload goal monetarily is $698. And that will cover, my thinking is that will cover, how I set that goal was I take what my financial spend is every day, whether it's you know, through the family and through the business. I combine those things together. So it's probably like $350 a day that I spend. And I double it because I always see in my data that you sort of make half as much as you invest, you know, and are uploading. I don't know how that makes sense or anything, but like if you upload $2, you make $1 for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. So that's how I determine my upload goal, which is hard. It's for one person, it's very hard. So
that is a lot for one person.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's $20,944 a month for this month. And I've done, because of my foot, I've only done like 3,000 this month. So it's going to be a bad month next month.
So wait a second. I think I'm reading this comment wrong. Goal is 2,000 sales a day.
Yeah.
Like I can't even comprehend that. 2,000.
That's easy.
But does that mean 2,000 sales a day, or does that mean 2,000 in sales a day?
$2,000 in sales a day.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see processing
You
2,000
mean,
sales. Okay.
yeah, not 2,000 orders a day.
Okay. That makes way more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I can come back down to earth now because it was like, holy shit.
I mean,
That's
even
wow.
Brick Vibe doesn't even do 2,000 orders in a month. So
Man. So, oh, what happened? And then Ralph was gone. All right. We'll see what happened. Oh, there he is.
Hold on. I accidentally hit a button and it went somewhere. Now I got the wrong camera. Here we go.
All right. I was worried I kicked you out by accident. I'm like, oh no.
No, I went to go open up my monthly store tracker spreadsheet and I opened it up right in the tab that I was in.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So 2,000 in sales a day. All right. I can get my head around that one. That's awesome.
That would
But
be
that's with staff and help
and rent. Yeah. So yeah, Chris
yeah.
has got a lot more expenses than say me and Derek do, right? Like he's got to figure out, he's got the lease of his, well, I think he says he owns it, but still he's got whether he leases or not, he's got utilities he's got to pay for, he's got staff he's got to pay for. I really don't think he's got inventory he's got to pay for anymore because he's pretty much bought it for the last 8 years or so. So but yeah, I mean, he's still got all that, so he's got to cover all those expenses plus enough for him to live. So I just have inventory I have source every month plus my bills. Thankfully I don't have a mortgage, I don't have car payments, I just have food, utility bills, taxes.
Yeah.
That's all, and taxes is the big one.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you have all of the normal taxes and then you have to pay taxes out of your business.
Right. Yeah.
That's always exciting.
So right now, like, I got school taxes in a CD for this year, waiting, just growing itself, and
Yeah.
then I've got income taxes I rolled over from last year, so I got refunds for both state and tax. I just rolled it over, so I didn't take the refund. I'm just letting it sit there. So next year, so this year I don't have to pay quarterly, thankfully, because I've got enough to cover. Hopefully, by the end of the year. So
That's awesome. So, all right. Don't answer this if you don't want to. I'm just curious here. Is Ralph Bricks like your business? Are you registered as a sole prop, or how did you go with that?
no, I didn't register at all. It's just individual tax.
Okay.
There's no LLC or anything.
Okay. Do you worry about that?
I don't. No,
We sell the world's greatest choking hazard, don't we?
I'm not in Germany. I think that's more of a
Uh-huh.
worry in Germany than it is here.
Okay. Our goal is to upload 1K in inventory per day.
Yeah, I mean that seemed to be the goal. What was it? Bricks and a Dollar said, or not Bricks and a Dollar. Just a Brick and a Bucket said in their last vlog they want to do $10,000 upload every week. Was their goal?
It's wild.
So what's that, like $1,200 to $1,300 a day? I mean that's a lot. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a
I'm
lot.
so happy for those kids. I mean, I probably shouldn't call them kids, but I feel like we've watched them grow up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know Chris.
Yeah.
Chris wants to take a drive up there and see the new warehouse. That'd be cool. I really enjoy watching Heaven's OCD on display while he's reorganizing the store. From the chaos that was DNA Bricks into something more like really over organized and built out. I really enjoy like him fixing the holes in the wall. That just it's just like, yep, that's Evan. That's
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's a lot of fun to see, and I had no idea what was going on there. And when they posted the video when they came back, I was just blown away. I was just so happy for him.
There was
That was really cool.
there was a lot of speculation at the time. I think we had figured something was going on with David. I don't know why. I don't know why I remember that, but um, I remember Chris knew, and he wouldn't tell us. Chris at Great Brick Lab, he wouldn't tell us in the seller stream, and me and Ben were hounding him, like trying to get him to react a certain way, just so we could figure out what it was. But yeah.
So, how much do you think the community has been a factor in you sticking around for as long as you have?
I don't know. It's funny. I've seen I've seen the community like sort of turn a little bit. Like there are some people that I was talking to a lot that sort of went away. Like they sold their store, and then like I don't know, Brick Arena comes to mind as one person. There was Adirondack Bricks, there was AZ Clicky Bricks. Like these people, like I would talk to regularly, and now like they close their store and like don't hear from them anymore. So like there's a little bit of churn. I think one of the great benefits of doing YouTube is I feel like I get um like a VIP backstage pass to be able to talk to some people, like
Yeah.
I don't know, Chris at Great Brick Lab, would I don't know, would we be doing the seller chat? Would we be chatting regularly? Probably. He's that kind of a person, but like I don't know. Would we be doing this show every month? I don't know. I don't know if we would. Would I have met Chris at Bricks on the Dollar? Visited his store a couple times. Did a podcast with him. Like I don't. Like I asked him one time because he was really big in YouTube back when I was doing it, and then he like sort of shut his channel down. Like he took everything down. And I asked him, I'm like, do you? I asked him about the life cycle we talked about earlier about BrickLink YouTubers, and he's like, I got a lot of opportunities from the YouTube channel that I wouldn't have normally got if I didn't do it. So I'm very happy that I did it. Um, but yeah, I think you get to a point in your store where it's like, and I think I'm realizing it right now. Like the $200 I make every month on YouTube, that's one order sometimes. Like is it worth all this effort? That's, I like doing it, and that's why I do it sometimes. Like I went through this stage of doing live streams just because I'm a technical guy, and I like setting it up. I like setting up the transitions and the intro countdown and all that kind of setting it all up. And then like after I got it all set up, and I was like, okay, I don't really want to do this every so I sort of stopped doing it after a while. So yeah.
I found it to be a lot of fun. This is I don't know, we'll call it 3 or 4 months of, we'll loosely call it interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been great because there's all kinds of different corners in the Lego world. There's bricklink sellers and mock builders and investors and whatever, stop motion guys.
Right.
There's not a whole ton of overlap. There's a little bit, but there's not a whole ton, I don't think. And this is giving me a chance
everybody needs everybody.
Talk to everybody. Yeah.
Might not be overlap, but everybody needs everybody. Like
yep.
The builders need the sellers need the builders.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm trying to bring a little bit of that together, and so far it's worked out all right. And there's people that have been around for I've only been in like at the Lego world, I guess, for 5 years or so now, so fairly new.
Yeah.
There's been people that have been around a lot longer than me that you can't find their backstory. And I'm always curious where everybody came from. And so you either can't find it because it's not there, or last time they talked about it was so long ago you're scrolling forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's bringing you guys on and talking about it and bringing it current. It's great for me because I'm really interested, and then other people can, you know, go and dive into your channels too.
Yeah. I
We
think
don't.
one of the things about the channels that are interesting for other resellers like us is just seeing how other people do it, right? Like there's no manual for doing it. Everybody does it their own way, and sometimes like these channels are sort of glimpses into how other people do it. Yeah, I'm Chris is in the channel, so I keep bringing it up because he's there. Ben's in there too, and you know, like Ben has a very unique way of thinking about things, and he's implemented that in a you know, in his way, and he shared that with us in seller chats. And then Chris, he's always been innovative in how things should be done. You know, like I think I think Chris was the one that brought up unconsolidated loss. I think that was the first time I heard about it when he experimented it in a whole section in his basement. Maybe it was him, maybe it was David. I don't know, but like, you know, like everybody's bringing something to the table that's unique, and we're all learning and saying, well, do I really want to do that? Do I want to do that? You know, like, and then Noah comes along and he's taken bits and pieces from all of our channels and made it his own, and then, you know, now he's doing his own thing, which is great, and then sharing it. So like, yeah, this community is like a lot of sharing. We are the sort of manual in sharing all that, which has its pros and cons. Like you said, we are training our own competition. One of the reasons why I like doing the members only videos now, you know, it's like I'll share it with you, but yeah, it's gotta have some benefit to me too.
Yeah, I mean, you've earned your spot.
Yeah.
It's the people that come in, and like I could not possibly host a paid community Bricklink based anyway. That wouldn't make any sense because I'm too new there. I can't answer enough questions.
Sometimes I wonder why I get how many members as I get. I'm surprised how many I get, but yeah, it's great. Like I really love the members that come in, and usually when they ask questions, I drop everything I do to answer their questions because, you know, they're invested. You know, they want to know what I know, and yeah, sure, I'll help share it with them.
So how many times have you got a question and have you been tempted to answer it by linking them to one of your older videos?
Oh, I do that all the time, especially in Discord.
Yeah.
I did that the other day. Somebody was asking Brickface. He was in the chat earlier. He was asking that question about how do you, isn't there a way to figure out how to build minifigures from the parts that you have? And I was like, they answered the question without the video, and then I came in like, you know, 30 minutes later, and I was like, you mean this video that I did?
Okay. So that was one of your public videos?
That was a public video, yeah.
Really? I don't know why I don't remember seeing that one.
I think that was about 4 or 5 months ago now.
All right, I'm gonna have to dig back and find that. Or I mean, you explained it here, so I could just go back and rewatch that too.
Yeah, it was a short video.
Okay. Huh. Well, shame on me for missing that one.
Definitely.
Yeah. Shame.
I could have got a little bit more ad revenue there.
Well, I'll make sure you get it. I'll track it down.
Ben here. Yeah, I think most sellers don't want to be interviewed or make videos because they don't want other sellers copying them. Give everyone the tools to defeat you and put you out of business. It's funny, like, well, there's a lot of Bricklink YouTubers out there that are just sharing everything, and it's like every time I see an order on Derek's vlog where they're like, I got inspired to start a Bricklink store because of you. It's like, oh, it's
yeah,
you know,
yeah. It's. I always wonder how long people like that stick around.
mm-hmm.
Like I was curious the other day on where I rank, just in my own state. Mm-hmm. So I was looking, and I was amazed by how many stores have under like 100 parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
They probably
don't even know
just
why that's a thing.
they probably just dipped their toes in it, and then they're like, "Oh, this is too hard. I'm not getting any sales," and they just forgot about it. They'll probably get like some sale down the line. They'll probably won't even realize it. Well, that's an interesting
But,
take. Chris goes, "I don't do my channel as much as I don't want my brand connected to just me." That's interesting because yeah, I could see that.
huh.
You know, when in the early days, it was Chris, Steve, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but it was their logo for a while. You know, the three guys. You know, that to me it was like early Great Brick Lab. But Ben's goes, it comes down to hard work. You can have all the answers, but if you don't put it in the work, then don't expect sales. That is true.
Yeah.
This leg injury I have is making it hard to do the work. Definitely.
Yeah, it is work.
Oh,
But on the,
it's a
well,
lot of work.
I don't think there's any point at any scale that it's not work. That's just kind of the nature of business, isn't it?
It's funny because early on it's fun, right? Like it's interesting. You're learning about new parts. You're seeing new parts. You're learning about business. You're building something, and then you get to a point where you've built it, and now it's just the work. You know, now it's like
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. Like it's just sorting and putting away, listing and putting away. Like I don't expand much anymore. You know, like I've pretty much gotten to the size that I can. I don't know. I'm churning as much as I'm putting in. So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm possibly just easily excited, but I love the process. I love sorting. I do. And it's almost as therapeutic as building for me.
yeah, Hmm.
It
I
just,
don't like it.
what?
I don't like it. I don't know.
So, when was it? I think I was watching one of your lives and you were at a desk and you had, I don't know if they were like the sterilite shoe boxes and you had a great setup there. Yeah, that setup right there.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's
I
just
love that setup so much.
those are book bins. You know, like I found them one back to school. You know, like Walmart has the back to school section, and they had these book bins, and I was like, that'd be perfect. You know, because they sort of link together. And then I bought like the top part of it's on this shelf that I just found on Amazon. I was like, I need it to be up just a little bit higher. So I was like looking for shelves on Amazon. I stumbled across these that are adjustable, so that I could get them to the right width that I needed. I needed two of them, which they were sold as a set of two. But they're like shelves that you would put into like a cabinet, you know, to like have a shelf in your cabinet. But yeah, yeah, I just put that all together, and then the categories are on the front. I think that came from David at DNA Bricks. Actually, I think they are a custom category because I think he uses 24 categories, and this is 15 that I think I got from somebody else in some other Discord.
Yeah, I sort on the floor and I basically put this like vinyl mat down, like a round tablecloth, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And I surround myself with the sterilite shoe boxes.
Mm.
And I just fire away and
Yeah,
I'll put a podcast on, something on YouTube, whatever, and just kind of zone out and fire away. And it's therapy until my feet go numb because I'm sitting cross-legged.
I
That's not
try
good.
to I tried to do like I'll scoop out this size amount of bulk. I'll at least try to do one or two of those a day. You know, into the first sort of categories, and then do the rest. You know, do all of the other. Like right now, I've got like a huge bin here sitting next to me of bricks that my mom had sorted out for me that I'm trying to get uploaded. So that's like I've been picking at that every day. And I still got a couple of you can see it right behind me. These bins right here on the table. They're from abandoned sealed bags that I parted out.
Okay.
Um, and so like I think what's left there is like like things that I don't really want to store that's been sitting on the table for a while. So yeah, it's another way I get new parts in. variety of new parts. I'll buy some, like the abandoned bags, because you can get them for cheap, and sometimes they come with minifigures in them. And then
That's handy.
yeah, but it's a lot of work. It's just like used.
What's it say here? First sort, good stuff, minifigure and printed, upload immediately.
Yeah, it's Ben's MO. Get those up there, because that gets your um the good stuff, like the things that you identified already that are high in value that will sell quickly. Get that up. Minifigure, because that's high in value and people are are sought after those things. And the printed pieces, because they get your variety up, and people are, even though you don't know it, people are always looking for printed parts to complete their sets.
Yeah, I'm yet to upload a single printed part or stickered part. I just
If you've got a bowl of them, just do it. It's like sort them by size. Like if they're tiles, like sort them by the right size. I put all like 2x2 tiled printed parts together. Still easy to find.
okay. All right. So, how would you suggest going about stickers, though?
No, stickers are printed parts.
You just count those in the
Yeah,
same thing? Okay.
Yeah. Patterns and stickers are the same thing.
Okay.
You just got to make sure. You just got to make sure that the stickers are applied right in the right orientation. Sometimes it's the right sticker on the right part, but it's put on wrong. It's like sometimes you can peel it off and put it back on.
Yeah.
Other times you go to scan it and Brick and I can't find it. It's not. There's no category in there. I just rip off the sticker and I'll just throw it in my used for later.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Yeah, I've been dreading it. I bet all in stickers and printed together, I probably have 80 or 100 pounds in the other room that I just haven't touched.
Yeah, could go through that. That'll add a lot of lots to your store, and there's a lot of people trying to complete sets. And what are the parts that they don't have? The stickers, the printed parts. That's the parts they're going to go after.
Yeah, I mostly dread the quality control on that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a pain.
Well, if the sticker's bad, just rip the sticker off. Now you have
Yeah.
hopefully you have a good part.
Yeah, and prints fade over time, right?
The older ones do. Some of the older stickers were made of paper. Like the new ones are like sort of like this vinyl thing. Like you can actually get I like throw them all through the wash. They come out fine. Some of the older ones, are like made out of paper, and like you can see like they start fraying at the edges. But some of the newer ones, they'll go through a wash easily. You can easily like sort of, if you're careful on the edges and don't like damage the edge, you can peel it back up and put it back down, and it'll stay until you sell it. So
yeah, I've learned that you can use a sticker sheet to remove a sticker.
yeah, you just I use my fingernail. I just use my fingernail. Doesn't damage it.
That's good to know too, because that's way easier. All right, so we'll make it a point to get that done soon. It's fun to peel off, fix them all the time. Yeah.
You'll be surprised about the amount of time the non-stickered parts is worth more than the stickered. But still, if the sticker is good, I'd rather have the unique lot than the extra 10 cents. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Daddy Brick sometimes buys parts that are stickered and then removes the stickers because the part's worth a lot more.
Yeah. So I wonder about time though. So if the part is worth 5 cents, 6 cents, or whatever, it's fairly junk, or it's worth the same if you remove the sticker. What is your time worth for something like that? Peeling it off, actually cleaning it to get the residue off.
Think of it this way: are you going to get an order that doesn't have that sticker in it? If that's what they're looking for, if that's the main reason they're out shopping.
Okay, so the benefit there is potentially getting an entire sale that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Exactly.
Okay.
It might be worth 10 cents, but that 10 cents is driving a sale because that person needs that part to finish the set. but you also have all these other parts that he needs, so he's going to buy them as well.
Okay. On the flip side, though, if you have, just a white 1x2 plate or something that's really stuck, I'm not going to spend 3 minutes trying to separate it and put it in the trash.
Oh, really stuck?
Yeah.
If you can't get it with a brick separator, 2 brick separators, yeah, that's
Yeah.
really stuck. It's probably glued. Yeah, throw it away.
Okay. Yeah, I try not to put any more than a couple seconds into that. I mean, if it's something real.
Chris has more reach, so like your time is benefit because you're getting more reach, right?
Okay.
Which is
All right.
Yeah. Again, think of it as more, as Tech and Bricks says, since you're familiar with them. The more hooks you got in the water, the more likely you're going to get a sale.
Yeah. Well, and that's a guy that's got what's he got, 4 businesses running now? I think he's still got the tree service, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got so many businesses. Yeah. Yeah. His videos are a little hard to watch lately because like now he's like going into this like he's going into this like wholesale distribution sort of business instead of the eBay business, and it's like I don't know, like sometimes I don't know what he's talking about. So it's like you gotta control the inventory. Yeah, if you're a wholesale business, I guess, sure.
Yeah, it's funny too because he's just like naturally just like a rugged guy. Seeing him in that type of business is just fun.
Yeah.
Like,
There was he did a video with some other guy. I cannot think of his name, but it was like an hour video, and he like sort of visited him in like December and spent like 2 days with him, like just shadowing him. Is really great. He like just like sort of, if you don't know anything about tech and sports, this was like the greatest sum up of like what he did and how he. So if you don't know tech and sports built, he was the number one. Any video you watch, you'll get the same intro. He was the number one reseller in clothing on eBay for 15 years. So like he was making millions of dollars every year selling clothing that he got at Goodwill and at flea markets. And he was showing like how he did it, like going to flea markets, it was all about building relationships with the people at the flea markets, and going really early, getting first crack at all of the inventory, and buying tons of it, some of the sales he was making or buys he was making, was like buying like 100 pieces at a time, filling up his car, and then coming back and he was doing, what did he say, 360 pieces a day, because he was doing
something crazy like that.
He was listing 260 pieces every day, but he had to do it over 5 days because his employees only work Monday through Friday. So, but Ben also
he would flat lay everything. Crazy.
Yeah, Ben also makes another good point about your time with the sticker, the sticker parts. Like, if you have a minimum purchase price, which I think you should, like, I think you should be calculating how much an order costs you. And you'll see, like, I did this recently, like about a year ago. I realized anything under $4 is actually costing me money when you figure in like all of the supplies you need, like the business card, the baggies that you use, the inventory cost, the shipping supplies, the shipping label. You figure all that out. Like if you sell a 1 cent part, plus you got the shipping that you collected, it might cost you more than that is worth. And I figured out like anything under $4 is that. So my minimum, I think I have it set at 5 right now, but Ben, he works a full-time job, so he has his minimum purchase at $20, right? So he keeps his orders sort of manageable. But like his thinking is any order over $20, it's worth my time to pick. So but he's got a minimum purchase. So if somebody wants that 10-cent piece, they also have to spend $19.90 to get that piece because they got to reach that minimum. That might be hard for you because you got 47,000 parts and trying to get $20 on your store might be very, very difficult. You know?
Yeah, that would take a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not just the low amount of inventory I have. My prices are all exactly at the 6-month sales average.
Mhm.
So when you're, I don't know, whatever, 300% above, $20 comes a lot faster. Right?
Yeah.
So I think
So
that makes a difference too.
so what's your goal with the store? So I'm assuming you have a full-time job too.
I do. I
Yeah.
do.
So what's your goal
Hopefully
with the
not
store?
forever, but additional income.
Just additional income.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
need it right now?
No.
Okay. So I'm hearing Ben in my head right now with all of the discussions we had in our seller chats and all that. Chris is on the other ear saying the same thing. He would say raise your prices like 100, 200%. Slow your store down. You'll get hardly any orders
Hmm.
and grow your store. That's the best way to grow your store. And sales will still come. They will still eventually, as you grow your variety, you'll still come. Then when the time comes when you need that money, then you have options. Now you have a fully grown store. You can lower your prices, or you just keep growing, and it works for them.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
Ralph knows me so well.
Ralph knows me so well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, very
See,
early on, though, it's
I wish
important to have reviews, isn't it?
I wish I had no.
No. Okay.
How many you got? You got more than 5?
Yeah. Well,
Then
Bricklink's
you're
weird. So I do have more than 5 as a seller,
Yeah, you're fine.
including as a buyer. I got 157. So it looks
What's your
better.
feedback percentage? Is it still 100%?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's looking. Nobody cares.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at how many orders you have. You probably have what, 50?
Yeah. Right about 55 or so.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see it. You're a new seller. You have 100%. You're not scamming me. You're not. You sort of know what you're doing. So that right there would be like, you don't. What else do you need to convince me that you've completed sales and nobody's really complained? So
Cool. I like that.
I don't think that works. I don't think that matters. But like if I were to take Ben's advice back when I started, and I was a hobby seller, back when I first started, I really wanted sales. I wanted to, when you're first starting, you really want to learn your system. You want to make it efficient. So maybe right now, like learn that. The only way you're going to do that is to be pulling orders. Set up your store the right way. And then once you're set, raise your prices, grow, and then
Okay.
when you've got maybe 100,000, 500,000, million parts, then you can do what you want.
Okay.
Yeah, and what Chris says, if you have the parts they're looking for, where else are they going to go? Again, if you've got a big enough variety where they can complete their order in one stop, people are paying premiums for that.
Yeah. I would think it feels a lot better selling at the higher prices too.
Yeah,
It's a,
you don't have to worry. Like their philosophy in customer service is like, if part's not up to snuff, or if they missed a part, they just they refund the shipping, they refund the part. They're they've got enough margin to be able to do very great customer service.
yeah, because just selling at the average, and that we don't, the store doesn't bring in enough money to justify a counting scale or anything like that. So if we sell, 250 studs, that's a hard pill to swallow, and that's the whole order.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I guess putting an order limit on there and raising prices.
Are you tracking your costs in Bricklink?
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I not that I don't know how to track it. I don't know how to like quantify, because everything we have we buy in bulk.
right, I get it.
So
So for me, the first thing you need to do is you need to go into Bricklink settings, and there's a check mark that says add a my column, my cost column to everything. If you don't do that, nothing works. And then if you're uploading in like say Brick Store, right? There's a my cost column that you can add costs to everything. What you need to do is figure out what's your average cost per pound that you're buying your bulk in.
Okay.
I
Per
set
pound
mine.
is huge.
Yeah, so I say my average is about $5 a pound. It's fluctuates, but I say $5 per pound. So every time I upload used from bulk, Brick Store has the weight of all of the items that you've scanned in. So then you take that weight, you divide it. It comes in as ounces because we're American. So you divide that by 16, and then you multiply that by 5. 5 being your price per pound.
Yep.
And so that is the price you paid for the entire file. So now you can select everything, right click somewhere in the my cost and say spread the price, spread price. You can do it two ways. What is it? By weight or by price. So maybe you've already priced up all your items and you want to distribute the cost by the price that you're charging everybody for. So then when you upload that, there's a setting that I think there's a setting in the upload screen to average out my costs or something. It'll average it. It averages all the my cost. So say you already have that lot in Bricklink, and it was 2 cents, and that was your cost. And now you're uploading this file, but for some reason the cost is 4 cents. It'll be 3 cents, on the site because it averages it out.
Okay.
So that's how.
That's
Again,
all.
I'm not a tax professional. This is not tax advice, but I was doing cash accounting for up till this past year, and then last year when I was doing my taxes, we were talking about how do we switch over to cost of goods sold, and this is how he told me how to do it. Was you figure out what your costs are. You spread it out. You can do averages, because my concern was like your concern. This piece might cost me 2 cents, but over here it might cost me 4 cents because that set's more expensive. He's like, yeah, well, put it in and then average it out, and it'll all work out. And then he did some magic this year when we converted it from cash basis to cost of goods sold for this past year's taxes. So, but you gotta start somewhere too. Like all of your inventory, you've got to sort of, if it's all used, this is great because then you can figure out what your cost per pound, pull in your store. It tells you how much weight it costs, how much weight it is. It's going to be in pounds, so you can just divide that or multiply that by 5, spread that across your inventory. There you go. There's your my cost. You can start with.
All right. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that because that's going to be really handy.
And then every time you upload, you've got to figure out what your costs are,
Okay.
and put that in.
All right. So if I'm going to go that route, that means I have to finish each bulk lot that I purchase to log it all in before.
No, that's the beauty of knowing what your average price per pound is, because then you can I don't finish out a box,
Okay.
I have an average cost of per pound, and anytime I upload a file, that file has the weight of those parts, and I just figure out what that costs per pound by the pound.
Okay. So if I buy, 10 different bulk lots, I can average the price across.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. That's way easier. Good.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever finish one before they buy another? Is that even a thing?
I think some people do. I don't. I will. I do about maybe 200 pounds at a time. I know Ben does. Ben does it by the ton. I think he's got. I think he just. What did you just buy? 4 tons?
I've heard.
He's got a local seller that's got too much bulk, and he's been selling it to him. And yeah, he's just been buying it up. I don't think he needs to buy bulk ever again, but he will. He will.
Does that get delivered by the Gaylord? How does that come in?
No, he goes and picks it up because it's local.
Okay.
I think last time he rented a truck.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about that. That's right.
Yeah.
This like covered his front porch or some crazy thing.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want that problem. I think we have.
No, you don't want that problem. You really don't. I don't want Bed's problem. I want 200 pounds. To me, it takes a while. You know, like I'm through that 200 pounds in the first sort, and I'm about ready to start sifting for this next 200 pounds that I've collected. But 200 pounds is great because like it takes a little while, and as you start to finish it, and you're like getting it into like right behind me this is second sort. You know, waiting for second sort back here. You can start collecting bulk from your various sources and getting it. You know, get 200 pounds or whatever. I have 200 pounds ready to go again, you know, like to start again. So, yeah.
It's a fun cycle.
Yeah. I really hate used. It was something more exciting about parting out sets that I really liked. You know, like there's minifigures, there's, I don't know, there was the hunt to find the sets, you know, the part you had to buy, but I don't know. Buying bulk just takes a little bit of fun. After you open it up and you like sort of sift through it to see what any goodies are in there, and then it's sort of like it's boring after that, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've got a decent system. I do the initial sort, and then I'll go back through and do a finer sort. I'll put everything in the kitchen because why not? And then the wife will take it from there. She'll get everything logged in and filed away, and then we'll just keep the cycle moving.
I envy you guys that have other people to help. I don't have it. I hardly have anybody to help.
Yeah, she's a champ. It's she takes care of the two kids, gets them going, does a million things, takes care of the house, juggles all of that, and handles at least half of the Bricklink stuff too. So she's an ace.
Yeah, Bricklink is all me, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, I tell it's nothing to do with it. Yeah. Unless I ask her to do it.
Yeah. Is she working?
She does. She has a cleaning business, so.
Okay. All right. So she's doing that though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have that. We have this.
Yeah.
And all of the other 73 million other Lego related things we have going on over here.
Yeah.
She does a lot of uploading for all of the other Lego things we do too. She keeps the retirement list updated and does some stuff in the app too. Keeps that going. So
awesome. Cool.
We keep her pretty busy. She keeps herself pretty busy. I can't say that I keep her busy. I deserve no credit for that.
I'm thinking about the Bill Burr comedy sketch where he's like talking about mothers claiming that being a mother is the hardest job in the world. Really? It's like really the hardest job. Like getting crabs off a crab boat isn't hard. Is it harder than motherhood? Bending over and putting the DVD in the DVD player is harder than crabbing.
Yeah. He's a funny bastard.
He's funny. He gets so much hate now. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know. We'll keep politics out of here. But yeah, things have changed with him a little bit. He's still a funny bastard.
Well, he's just opening his mouth. That's all.
Yep. I don't know. Agree with him or not, everybody's entitled, right?
Yep.
To their opinion, that is, not necessarily just entitled.
He just has a funny way of seeing the world. It's comedy. You got either laugh or you get mad. So
yeah. So the other day I was hunting for something to watch, and a movie came up called Zombievers.
Zombievers?
Yeah. So it's like a B horror movie. So it's like, of course, I'm going to watch something called Zombie Beavers. Why would I not? It's about zombie beavers.
I would
And
definitely not even like give that any
oh, yeah,
attention.
yeah. So the very first scene, there's two guys driving a truck with, toxic waste in the back, because that's how that movie would have to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
The driver of the truck was Bill Burr.
Oh,
I, I never would have guessed. And there he is driving a truck full of toxic waste.
well, that's funny.
Yep.
It was weird
The
seeing
movie
him
was
in
terrible.
Mandalorian too.
Yep. Yeah. They had a lot of interesting people in that.
Mm.
What was her name?
Katie Sackhoff.
Lizzo.
Mm.
I think that was her name. Um, I forget that she was the queen of somewhere. She popped up in that show.
I don't
Um,
know. Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, with Jack Black.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't have no idea who she was. And then I hate Jack Black, so that was not a favorite episode.
Hate Jack Black, huh?
I I do not find him funny at all. I don't know why.
So I take it you didn't run right out and see the Minecraft movie?
No, especially after I heard about like Chicken Jockey, and I was like, nope, I want no part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't live in that part of the world, I guess. I took my daughter to see it, and she absolutely loved it. I thought it was kind of lame, but
Yeah,
visually it was pretty cool. They did a great job.
yeah.
The movie as a whole, I thought was kind of boring.
Video game
But
movies never do well. I mean, come on,
yeah,
doesn't translate very well.
she had a blast. Everybody in the theater was very well behaved. They laughed at the appropriate times and did all of the other things.
I
Nobody
guess it
stood
was.
up until it was time to go home.
I guess it was the first week or so when everybody was like doing the crazy stuff.
Yeah. I think I don't want to call this an innocent area necessarily, but people tend to be fairly well behaved. Our movie theater is basically in or attached to Foxborough Stadium,
Mm.
so it's a fairly decent spot. So people tend to behave themselves, and there's a lot of security over there, which is kind of a thing too. But that's a decent spot. You can actually come out of the movie theater, walk up a set of stairs, and overlook Gillette Stadium.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Makes you
Patriots
wonder
Hall of Fame is all in there.
is is the movie theater where Tom Brady deflated all the footballs? It could be.
He could have just been sitting in the back room. Somebody's probably got a Polaroid of that somewhere.
Yeah. Well, being a Bills fan, yeah, sort of still
Yeah.
fresh in my mind.
Yep. Oh well. Yeah. But he's all done now, so nothing to worry about there.
Not really, because now I got to listen to him on Fox.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you don't need to worry about the Patriots for a while, I don't think.
No, it's Kansas City right now. It's ticking me off.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything to do with that one.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I thought I had one more for you here. Just I'm blind too. So the yellow trays that everybody talks about, and yep, those. What's that tray called?
It's called Easy Sorter. I don't know if they make it anymore. It's very hard to find lately.
Okay. Well, maybe that's why I've never seen one.
Yeah,
Easy
like
Sorter. That's like the easiest name. Okay.
yeah, on Amazon they are really expensive. I think it's because they're just not making them anymore.
Okay.
You used to be able to find them at Harbor Freight. That's where Derek got his. We have Harbor Freight now, but we didn't back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I got mine on Amazon at the time. Easy Sorter funnel tray. Yeah, they have them, and they're $15. I mean, I got mine for like $5. They're worth it. Like definitely worth it.
Okay.
There's some for $11. They even
It's so
have
funny that 15 seems like a ripoff, but it's something you use every day. So is it really?
yeah. Well, it seems like a ripoff when you got it for like they used to be like $2 at one point. They were like really cheap. So like yeah, this is crazy.
Make one out of cardboard.
I
Yeah.
don't think Ben has
Nothing.
one. Ben, do you even have one?
Nothing in my house made of cardboard lasts very long. It's the beauty of children. Yeah. I should mention that this is my living room. So yeah, it's anything that's disposable gets disposed of quickly.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, he says he has 4. I only have 3.
Okay.
I have one on my cart, and then I have 2 in here that one I keep on my desk and one I keep on that table over there.
Do you actually use all 3? Do you actually work in all of those spots?
The table's become more of a junk table, but like right now it's like holding way too many drawers that have churned that I need to fill. I've been working on a new video that I don't know if it'll see the light of day. Of the whole topic is going to be like I need to fill these drawers. It's taking me a little bit longer than I want to do. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it or uh how engaging that video would be. But anyways, uh yeah, now it's just more like it's been storage, and I do a lot of work on my desk here. But second sorts, like if I take one of these down and do it, I'll do it on here because I can spread out. I can just take everything off the table and get a lot of bins on that table and sort.
I feel like if you have too many flat surfaces, one of them inevitably just becomes a catch-all.
Well, I mean, you're seeing all this over here. This is the L of my desk. Like this is the
Okay.
catch-all over here, but that's starting to become a catch-all too.
Yeah, it's rough. But
It just means I got too much backlog that I need to get through.
yeah, that means you have potential monies just sitting around waiting for you, right?
It means I'm too slow. It means I need to get this leg healed so I can upload faster.
Yeah. Well, you're on the path.
Yeah, almost there.
Yeah. So then you can try to outrun the summer slowdown.
Yeah,
If
I
you're
don't think
ready.
that'll happen. I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah. It's not summer yet. Where are we? This is middle, almost end of May. Yeah. So you still got a little bit of time, I think, right? School gets out in 6 weeks.
It's when it gets warm. I think. I mean, my sales reports and my members side. I started saying what was after March. I'm like, I was started getting worried about April. And the slide down back then. So tip of the day: upload everything. Keep uploading. Yep.
Yep.
I mean that's all you do. Just keep uploading.
Yeah.
Sales will come.
We put up 900 lots in the last week. I was feeling
That's
pretty good
nice.
about that.
That's
Well,
very good.
well, I spent 5 days doing minifigures, so that helped.
I don't even think I have 900. I have 354 lots this month. So
Wow.
it's been a
Yeah,
slow month for me.
It was just minifigures, parts that I had in tackle boxes forever. I decided it was time to address those.
Yeah.
Which is what led to the assembling minifigures question. I'm sure there's a lot that I could complete in there, and I just have no idea.
Ben says 900 lots is great. Ben does like 500 lots in a day sometimes. Drives me nuts.
That's amazing.
Let me look. Oh, okay. This month, the biggest one he's done is 116. So he's slacking this month. See, last month.
I did.
Last month was 202. Wow, he's been slacking for a couple of months here.
Yeah,
3 months.
250 on Saturday or Sunday, and I felt awful afterwards. Like my vision was going. What is that? 1017 during? No way.
So Ben was February 12th was the last time he did like over 400 in one day. So yeah.
It's 1017 lots during this video. I can't tell if that's humor or real.
Oh, think about how he uploads. He's
Yeah.
takes a handful and just scans each part. So
Yeah. So when you're using actual software, is it really that simple? Does recognize link right with those things and just add it right in for you? How does that
yeah.
go?
Let me share my screen. I can show you. Do you not use it?
No, I wanted to make sure I fully understood Bricklink before I moved over and started doing that.
Let me move this over into my smaller monitor because I have a really wide monitor, so it'd be like you won't be able to see anything if I might share my screen over there. So let me share my screen over here. Oop, I don't want to do that. Where are you? Here we are. Nope, screen one. Browser can't access your screen. Okay. Present. Okay, I can't. I won't be able to do that. Sorry, but yeah, you just add. Geez. Hold on. I know how I can do this. Give me a second.
All right.
Now we're opening up OBS.
Ooh, getting real fancy.
Yep.
Now, OBS is for streaming on multiple platforms. Isn't that the whole idea on that one?
Yeah, but I can make OBS of whatever I'm capturing in OBS. I can make it into a virtual camera, and I can change my camera to be what I'm sharing.
That's slick.
Yeah. Hold on. Seller chat. Okay. Yeah. So I just got to do. So now I need to start virtual camera. Okay. So now I can go here. There. Can you make me full screen?
Yes, somehow. Where's the button? Ah, here we go. Nope, apparently I just got rid of everybody. Where the hell did it go? That's me. How about you?
There we go.
Nope,
right.
We got all kinds of crazy things going on here.
Oh, you just, yeah.
All right, hold please. Technical difficulties. Oh my word. I'm hitting too many buttons. Why can't I? Solo layout. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
All right. So if I, all right. So let's see. Open up my. So now you're seeing my camera that's pointed down. So
Yep.
let me grab something. I've got a bin of parts here. So this is what Chris is doing. He's taking apart. He's putting it under. He's clicking the thing. It's finding it. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's doing one use. He's adding it. It's there. So then he goes back to So now it goes to the next part. This is it's a pearl reddish or pearl gold. He adds it parts in there. And that's what he's doing. He's just doing that over and over and over again.
Wow.
That's when he
Okay.
says he did 1,000 parts. That's pretty much what he's doing.
All right. So 1,000 parts is 2,000 seconds. All right.
Or a lot, lots. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. All right. So we'll be there soon enough. My goal was to fully understand how Bricklink worked, the ins and outs of it before moving to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So say we go to a just brick store or something, and we get used to brick store, and the brick store goes away for whatever reason. I don't want to suddenly revert back to something I don't understand.
And for all for giving away all the secrets. Yeah, sure. I'm giving all away the secrets. Everybody knows that one. Yeah, I don't think Brickstore is going away. It's open source. I mean, there was Brickstore. The history of Brickstore has been it was Brickstore. It sort of got stopped being developed. Somebody took it over, made it Brickstock. Then they stopped supporting it, and then the original developer took it back over again and rebuilt it into the current version of Brickstore. And it's open source, so like if they stop supporting it again, somebody can take that code base and support it if they want, just like BrickSync.
Okay. So that sounds fairly safe. But we've almost got the whole Bricklink thing figured out, and I don't want to say mastered, but where we're very comfortable. So
I'm sure if it's going to go away, Chris at Great Brick Lab will pay somebody to work on it. That's usually how that goes.
Should investigate barcodes for your drawers. Soon enough, I think. Soon enough.
Do it now while you only have 1,700. Right, Noah? Noah's doing how many? 5,000 drawers? It's taking him months.
Yeah. I want to get a little bit more listed first and be comfortable where everything is at.
Yes, he says.
Yeah. So because of all the investing and selling new sets for over the years now, we're already set up with barcode scanners and the printer and all of the rest of that. We've been dealing with barcodes for a long time. So switching over and doing them for the drawers will be easy enough.
Yeah.
At least the learning curve of it will be easy enough. The application and getting everything logged in is a whole different story.
I mean, most of the time, like if you're entering in numbers, most of the time it's fine. But every now and then you fat finger a drawer, or my dyslexia kicks in, and like numbers are all in mixed up order, and then you put it away in the correct spot, but your remark code is wrong. You have fun finding that.
The biggest aggravation with the barcode scanner is the friggin' timeout beep. Drives me crazy.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have barcodes.
Yeah, it's if you let your scanner sit for a couple minutes, it chirps at you.
Might be a setting. Check your settings. There might be a way to turn that off. I would assume there would be a way to turn that off.
Yeah, it's just basically from letting it sit for too long. It's just telling you that it's going to sleep.
Wish my wife had that. Wish my wife had that. Every time she sat too long, she just beeped. We'll go back up.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a terrible sound.
That's funny.
Yeah. When during Q4, when we were sending a lot of units into Amazon, it was just the chirp over and over again. It was maddening.
Wow. Just wear some headphones.
Yeah. I mean, I basically live in headphones anyway.
You're right.
10 hours a day. It's a long time.
I usually wear these AirPod Pros while I'm pulling orders, and I can't stand it more than that.
Yeah. I work in the trade, so usually I have the
Oh, right. The
like
ear
the
protector.
heavy duty, and those are Bluetooth, so I get a podcast or something going, so that helps. But it's a long time, and these ears aren't small, so they don't fit in the headphones very well. It gets a little uncomfortable.
Well, it is 11:30. Do you have anything
Yes,
else?
sir. I don't think so. This has been a real pleasure. Thank you for hanging
Awesome.
out tonight.
I don't mean to cut it short, but I'm
No,
starting to get
it has gotten very late.
it's starting to get a little yawny. That's for sure.
Yeah, that time went by very fast. Thank you so
Yeah, it
much.
did.
Thank you, everybody who's come and hung out tonight. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate having you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Uh,
Thanks, Ben, Chris, um, Bill, Daniel Bricks. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are all awesome. Next week we have
No.
on. Next week is our big investing show. So we will have KDX Bricks, Wolf of Bricks, DG Bricks, and KDX Bricks Analytics in here. It's going to be a massive investment show. It's going to be a good time.
Can you be in the Lego community and not have bricks in your name?
You know, I tried, but anything stud related just sounded dirty, so I moved on. But, yeah, I tried. Oh well.
That's funny.
Yep. Can't be done, I guess.
Nope.
All right. Well, good night, everyone. It's been awesome. We will see you soon.
Thanks.